Welcome to Halachot of Niddah. Today's class will be part 17. Today's topic will be bleeding into sunrise. Up to now we've been speaking about that a woman can potentially have 3 vestot if she is that type of woman who does not have an established cycle. One of the vestot she can have is what we call the ona benunit, the average ona, which is basically the 30-day period that she has to count from the last time that she saw. Then we saw the second vesed that a woman can have, which are vesed ha'aflaga, the interval cycle, that she has to go ahead, she has to see the last time she saw until the next time she's going to see. Whatever the numbers between those two seeings are, she's going to take it. That's going to be called the interval cycle. Then we also saw another vesed, which is called vesed hachodesh, that she has to be concerned for the date of the month of the cycle that she saw from the last time. Now, we went through each and every one of them individually. We spoke about them. I'm not going to get into details. The reason why I'm saying that is because what we're about to learn today can happen to a woman who has an ona benunit vesed, or if this woman also has a vesed haflaga vesed, or if this woman also has a vesed hachodesh vesed. In any one of these situations, you're going to apply today's class. The only thing is what comes first. If the interval cycle comes first, then you're going to use it. If the ona benunit is going to come first, then you're going to use it. If the yom hachodesh is going to come first, then you're going to use this halakha. But I'm going to share with you today something that we haven't seen up to now. In the previous classes, we've been speaking about that if a woman sees her period at night, next time around, she has to stay away from her husband at night. But the day before the night and the day after the night, she is allowed to be with her husband. Similarly, what happens if a woman sees her period during the day? Next time around, we're going to tell her the night before the day, the night after the day, you're allowed to be with your husband. Again, whenever we speak about the day after the night or the night after the day, you have to make sure that she's clean and she did a bidika. This is what we've been learning up to now, that a guy has to stay away from his wife on that honor that she's anticipating her period to come. Today we want to see something that we haven't seen in the previous classes. What happens if a woman starts to bleed before sunrise, but then it continues into sunrise? Meaning to say, what happens if a woman starts to bleed at night and her flow continues into the day? Next time around, let's say this woman has a vested of an ona benunit, an average ona, 30 days. When the 30-day period comes, again, I can apply it to the interval cycle. I can apply it to also vesed hachodesh, to the monthly cycle of the date. I'm just taking one of them. Next time when the ona benunit comes, when I look back at this woman and I say, 1 second, when did you see your period? She says, Rabbi, I saw it at night, but the flow continued into the day. So now, Rabotai, on the ona benunit, do you know when you have to stay away from her? You have to stay away from her at night. The whole night you can't be with her, plus the day. But look at this beautiful halakha. When we say plus the day, it's only the amount of time that she bled into the day, not the whole day. I will explain. We'll call this the sunrise period. Let's say if a woman in the month of Av, once again, Rabotai, this is a makeshift calendar. I'm changing the dates around so you can get a feel of how to calculate and you can start really understanding and learning how to apply it to yourself. So let's say this woman, she saw in the month of Av on the 9th. Now, I did something today that I didn't do in the other calendars, which I should have done, but I explained it previously. But Rabotai, whenever I'm teaching, I want to make sure people understand. I don't assume people understand. There was a rabbi by the name of Rabbi Shlomo Brevda. If you guys want to go look him up, listen to Shiurim. I don't think you ever heard the Rabbanim speak emet like he speaks. No, you have certain rabbis. But, Rabbatai, I don't want to say too much on the recording, but just listen to, his name is Rabbi Shlomo Brevda. How do you spell his name? Shlomo, S-H-L-O-M-O. Last name Brevda, B-R-E-V-D-A. Look him up, Rabotai. Listen to a few shurim of his. You'll understand what does it mean to be a rabbi who's 100% emet. You'll get a feel of him. It's crazy how straightforward he is, how cut throat. He doesn't care what people think, what people say. He says the Torah the way it is. And anyway, Rabbi Shlomo Brevda, I used to listen to him many, many years ago when I became religious, when I was becoming religious. He had a mashgiach ruchani, a spiritual advisor, by the name of Rabbi Yecheskel Levenstein, one of the biggest mashgichim ever. He was very, very big. And Rabbi Shlomo Brevda, whenever he would come to teach Torah, he would teach Torah. But then the mashgiach, Rabbi Yecheskel Levenstein, told him, don't ever teach Torah on your level. Teach Torah on their level. Many people, when they teach Torah, they assume you understand. They assume. They'll be spitting halachot. They know the chachamim for sure know what they're saying. That's pashut. But when they're teaching it to you, they think you also understand. So Rabbi Yecheskel Levenstein said, Zatzal, he told Rabbi Shlomo Brevda Zatzal that whenever you're teaching people Torah, look at them as if they don't have any idea what's going on in this halakha or in the Torah topic that you're teaching. This way, you are able to be on the same level with them and you are able to build them up. So when they walk away, they're going to be able to walk away with Torah. Not just with, a lot of good information, but not knowing what to do with it. So that's what Rabotai took that very much to heart actually. And when it comes to teaching, also from my rabbi, Rav Moshe Walkin, Shlita, he should live, he should have Arichat Yami and Arichat Sham, he should live minimum 120 years of age. Same thing with the rabbi, Rabotai, he would explain the same thing over and over and over and over again. He could be doing one line of Gemara 2 months, he didn't care. It's about Rabotai, the Amil, it's about learning and understanding and better understanding it and better understanding it. So it's very important, Rabotai, when it comes to learning Torah and teaching Torah, you do it to be able to understand, not just to get the idea. This is not history, it's not science, not biology, it's a life. So you want to make sure that you understand what's going on. In any event, so I do feel bad that I did not, do this before, because I did explain it in the previous classes, but we'll do it today. So remember, this is the Hebrew calendar. So the month of Av on the 9th, let's say the woman saw, but when did she see? Now remember, look what I did on the top right over here. I put over here Sunday, Monday. Because remember, the 9th of Av, when you look at the 9th of Av, part of the 9th belongs to Sunday night. Part of the 9th belongs already to Monday morning. The same thing would have been if I would have moved on to 10th of Av, right over here. The highlighted area right over here, about this right here, number 10. Here, I'm going to put it in pink. Right over there. Same thing over there. This part of the 10th belongs to Monday night. Part of the 10th belongs to Tuesday morning. It's always like that. Why do we have to know this? Because why is Rabotai? Rav David Yosef Shtuda is going to address this issue in the Sefer in Taharat Habayit. What happens if a woman saw her period on the 9th, but it was at night and continued into the day? Very important. She saw it on the 9th, but she began seeing it at night, which was when, Rabotai, it was really a Sunday. But then she continued seeing it into the day, which is when, which is really a Monday. So that's what, Rabotai, you have to make sure that you follow always the Jewish calendar. It makes it that much easier. So, Rav David Yosef Shtuda is going to say like this. What happens if a woman saw blood at night, before sunrise, into the day, 2 hours after sunrise? I should put over here, after sunrise. So one more time, if a woman saw on the 9th of Av blood at night before sunrise, into the day after sunrise 2 hours into the day, next time around, what are we going to tell her? How many days does she have to stay away from her husband? Are we going to say you only have to stay away from your husband since the period began at night, so you only have to stay away from your husband at night? Or are we going to say since the period continued into the day, so maybe you have to stay away from your wife during the day? Or am I going to say you have to stay away from your wife during the night, and the amount of time that she bleeded into the day, that's how much you have to stay away from her? I'm going to explain, Rabotai. If it's not clear, it's going to get clear right now. So watch this. Let me show you like this. Remember the rule. By us, the Jews, sunrise, when it comes to Halachot Niddah, sunrise is day. Before sunrise, it's still considered to be night. When it comes to Halachot Niddah, sunset is night. When it comes to other halachot, Rabotai, like halachot of davening or any other halachot, when does day start? Day starts from dawn. But again, by halachot niddah, day starts from sunrise. In other halachot, night starts when the 3 stars come out. In halachot niddah, night starts once the sun sets. Having that in mind, let's go back over into the calendar. If a woman saw on the 9th of Av, she saw blood at night before sunrise, let's say 30 minutes before sunrise, an hour before sunrise, 2 minutes before sunrise, doesn't matter when. If a woman saw blood at night before sunrise, and the bleeding did not stop at sunrise, it continued into the day after sunrise, but how long did it continue? I'm just giving you an example. Let's say it continued 2 hours into sunrise. Next time around, let's say in the average Onah, again, I can apply this to the Yom HaChodesh, I can apply this to Vest HaFlagot. I'm just going to use one of the periods where she's going to anticipate, but you could apply it to any other period also. So, Rabotai, watch this. If the woman saw on the 9th of Av, I put over here day 1, okay? Then you're going to count day 2, day 3, day 4, etc. We're going to continue, Rabotai, on the 8th of Elul, on the month of Elul, on the 8th of Elul. When are we going to tell you she's not allowed to go ahead and sleep with her husband? When is that going to be? I want to show you like this. Watch this, Rabotai. We're going to tell you she can't sleep the whole night, which is her average Onah, plus 2 hours into the day. Now watch this, Rabotai. I'm going to do it with you right now. So if the 6th is a Sunday, the 7th is a Monday, so this is a Tuesday. So that means we're going to make this a Monday / Tuesday. Then I'm going to make this night / day. Because remember, I'm in the Jewish calendar. I got to make it a little bit more. But when it comes to learning Torah, I just like it having, separate. So you can be able to distinguish. 1 second. Okay. So on the 8th of Elul, we're going to tell the husband on Monday night he's not allowed to sleep with her. Why is he not allowed to sleep with her on Monday night? Very simple. Because last month she got her period on Sunday night before sunrise. The reason I'm saying before sunrise, just to teach you that before sunrise, it's really night. But if a woman received her period at night on Sunday, so we're going to tell the husband, on Monday night, you're not allowed to sleep with her. However, you are also not allowed to sleep with her on Tuesday day. How long am I not allowed to sleep with her during Tuesday of that day? Very simple. Plus 2 hours into the day. Only 2 hours. Why can't I sleep with her only 2 hours? Very simple. Because when she began seeing her period on Sunday night, her period did not stop before sunrise. It continued into Monday day. How long did it continue into the Monday? Into the day after sunrise, it continued to 2 hours. Perfect. Since it continued 2 hours, next time around you have to be afraid only of the 2 hours of the day. But afterwards, if she went ahead and she didn't see blood and she did her bidika, we're going to tell you you're allowed to have relations with your wife after those 2 hours passed. So you see how important this halakha is. A woman thinks, no, I saw at night, so I have to be afraid at night and next time around. That is a very big problem. Why? Because if she saw at night and it continued into the day, then we're going to tell her next time around you have to stay away from your husband the night of, plus the amount of time that she bled into the following day. And in this situation, it's 2 hours. It could be 5 hours, it could be 2 minutes, doesn't matter. Now, Rabotai, if you think this doesn't play a big role, it plays a very big role. Why? A lot of times, I'm not going to get into the halachic aspect of it, but a lot of times I have people that tell me, Rabbi, that they have relations with their wife before they go to shul. Now, if they're waking up after sunrise to go to shul, and if that would be the period, he would think he's allowed to be with her, not knowing that her period was the night plus 2 hours into the day. So really now they did an avera. They did a sin. They both need to do tshuva and they have to atone for that sin. Don't think, oh, she only saw at night, so I only have to stay away from her at night. No, you have to follow the woman's period. So that's why it's very important to know. That's why it's not only placed upon the woman to keep track of the calendar. You'll be surprised. Many times they will not know. They will be very confused. So that's why you have to also be on top of it. Since you're the one that's following the halachot, follow her, Rabotai, follow her. I don't want to tell you how many men don't know Halachot Niddah, don't know when their wife is going to see. All they know is when she saw blood, not to touch it, not to sleep with her. That's all they know, nothing more than that. Nebuch, Rabotai, unfortunately, this is the generation we live in, where nobody wants to toil anymore, nobody wants to work anymore, nobody wants to really understand the ways of Hashem. We all want to do what's good for us and not what's good for Hashem. That's why we're not called Ovdei Elokim. We're not called the ones that serve God. We're called Ovdei Atzmeinu. We're called that we serve ourselves. We don't serve God. Whatever is comfortable for us, we do. Whatever is not comfortable for us, we don't do. A lot of guys tell me, Rabbi, why do I have to know these halachot? For what, Rabbi? I'm not the one who's checking. Good. You're not the one, idiot. You're not. So why did the Shulchan Aruch write it? Why did the Shulchan Aruch write it? Why did the Shulchan Aruch bring all these halachot? For us to learn and educate our women. And if you think the Rebbitzins are doing the same job, I hope so, Rabotai, I hope so. I've seen otherwise, but I really hope so. Okay. Now that we know this, let's go back to today's class. So again, Rabotai, all I'm going to do is I'm going to read it, and that's where Rav David Yosef Shutai is going to tell us in short, that if a woman saw sometime before sunrise, which is night, and then she continued into sunrise, you're not allowed to sleep the following Vesit, whatever it might be. If it's going to be an interval cycle, or it's going to be the average ona, if there's going to be the monthly cycle, meaning on the date that she saw, whichever one comes first, you have to be able to apply this halakha. So Rav David Yosef Shlutan, the heart of Bait, he begins. If a woman was accustomed to seeing blood towards the end of the night, a little bit before sunrise, but her her bleeding, little means seeing, but why is it bleeding? Because you have to see her bleed. But if her bleeding continued after sunrise, here we go. You need to separate from your wife on the anticipated period the whole night, and also during the day. You need to separate from her the amount of time that she continued in seeing her period into after sunrise. In our case, it was, let's say, I put 2 hours. And afterwards, she's allowed to be with her husband that day. But very important, as long as she did the proper checking. Simple review, the case. A woman begins to see menstrual blood at the end of the night, just a little before Hanetz HaChama, before sunrise. Her bleeding continues after sunrise into the day. The halakha is going to tell us, during the night, the next time around, Rabotai, during the night, since the bleeding began before sunrise, she's considered a riyat adam at night. She's considered that she saw a period at night. Therefore, her husband must separate from her for the whole night. Next time, Rabotai, around. Because that night becomes her own vested, the set time of bleeding. What about during the day? Because the bleeding continued into the day, she is also forbidden to him during the day, but only for the same length of time that the bleeding lasted after sunrise. Example, if she bled for 2 hours after sunrise, she is forbidden for 2 hours into the day. After the time passes, once the amount of time of her actual bleeding passes, she is permitted again that same day, provided that she checks herself properly and confirms she is clean. Summary, Rabotai, if she sees blood before sunrise, she is off limits all night. If the bleeding continues into the day, she is off limits during the day too, but only as long as the bleeding lasted. After that amount of time passes, if she checks and is clean, she becomes permitted again that